I'll be honest here, guys, not really good at reviews when it comes down to video games. I've always kind of shied away from doing them and kind of clipping together everything and saying this in this structured and organized fashion, because I think that sometimes it does the game a disservice. I know that there's people that want reviews like that, but it's just something that I can't provide normally, considering the type of games that I like to play, big, long RPGs, and how long it takes to capture all the footage and to get everything and to do everything right. But holy smokes, I'm just going to talk about Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition, Echoes of an Elusive Age. I think I said the name all jacked up, but guys, this is a game that is a must play, this is a must buy, and this is my horribly put together review of Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch, and I think I got it right that time. So Dragon Quest XI is a 2-year-old version of the original Dragon Quest XI that came out on the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo 3DS. This version of the game is very unique because it's an actual hybrid between the PlayStation 4 version of the game, which uses Unreal Engine 4 and the graphics that you see, but then it also uses the Nintendo 3DS exclusive content to mash together in order to make a awesomely crafted, unique experience on the Nintendo Switch. Really, guys, Dragon Quest XI, it's hard to explain in words how good this game does when it comes to Nintendo Switch versions. It's quite honestly, maybe, just maybe, the best third-party or even game on the system. I think the game is that good when it comes to the structure of the game. And just talking about third party, let's just go ahead and put third party games into perspective. Even though this was published by Nintendo from a first party standpoint, you don't see many games like this on the Nintendo Switch. The graphics, how they've ported them over, or how they've constructed or made them for the Nintendo Switch, how they've pretty much got rid of a lot of the annoying little things that you see from like other big games on PlayStation 4 being brought over, then to go above and beyond when it comes to content, the music being redone or being orchestrated for this version of the game. Adding in the 3DS content, you have the play in the 2D mode, so you can play in like the old school 2D type. You also have the exclusive worlds from the different Dragon Quest games that's not in the PlayStation 4 version. You can actually go into those worlds from past Dragon Quest games and play there. And this is what makes Dragon Quest XI, if you've already played it maybe just a little bit, or if you've only kind of seen, okay, you know it's a turn-based RPG, this is what makes it so good. It's packed full of content, and it's done in a way that's just absolutely amazing. The game has you starting off as a hero that you name, right? We just call him hero, at least that's just what I call him. You venture off because you are the luminary, you are the chosen one set to save the world. However, when you get to the destination that your mom tells you to go to, because you mark the bearing and everything, well, you know what? The king doesn't think that you're the luminary, and he calls you the Darkspawn and sends his men after you. And from there, it's pretty much a race to figure out what's going on in this world, what happened to your old area that you lived in that was destroyed by monsters, and help to save the world. And you meet all sorts of amazing characters along the way. Now, battles are turn-based. It's classic turn-based, but there is a twist in this one. And I think that this is what keeps Dragon Quest, though it's a turn-based RPG, it's fast-paced. Now, what you can do is that when you hop into battle, enemies are on an overworld map there, or on the map, you just run right into them, or you can preemptively swipe at them and get some damage already done. So there's already a cool thing that you can do before you head into the battle. But then once you get to the battle, you don't have to just pick every single person's attacks and do them. You can actually set commands for them, and then they will attack automatically. This actually speeds up the pace of battle and makes things a lot better. Now, speaking of speeding up the pace of battle, this is probably the single-handed best addition to Dragon Quest XI on the Nintendo Switch is the fact that you have the ability to literally speed up the battle in the game. You can go from the normal pace to like the double time speed and then like the triple or quadruple, I don't know, or whatever, like the speed. I have to look at it again, but still, it is amazing. You can level up faster, you can speed up the pace of battles, you can just make things better for you. And this is something that I feel that all RPGs should have, especially turn-based RPGs or just RPGs in general, because I know Final Fantasy 12 on the Nintendo Switch also has that as well. Just be able to speed things up just a bit in order to level up faster, right? You can fight more enemies in a smaller amount of time. This is very good for people who are busy, and I really appreciate Square Enix and Nintendo making sure that this feature was in the game, and single-handedly might be the best feature here. But let's talk more about the combat and what makes this game awesome. And the combat is really good. And one of the things that I like about this is that at first it seems like, okay, this is just like a typical JRPG. You do your attacks, you have some skills, but then things get a little bit more interesting, and then a lot bit more interesting as you level up. You can actually unlock skills to do stuff like dual wielding, which dual wielding in RPGs, you don't really see too much, right? Sometimes you see it in the action ones, but in the turn-based, if a character has dual wielded weapons, he just has dual wielded weapons, and that's what his strength is and everything. But in this game, you can actually dual wield different weapons of the same class, and then that will get you a strength buff to where you actually hit them twice. So you can do one hit with your strong hand, which is the stronger hit, then one hit with your offhand, which would be the weaker hit, so it doesn't do as much damage. But I was surprised because I didn't unlock that skill on the PlayStation 4 version when I played that one. So I was really happy to see that you can do that, and you can have some devastating results. With Eric, the thief, you can equip 2 boomerangs, and boomerangs hit everybody on the battle. So if you have 2 of them, you just throw both boomerangs and you're just like freaking knocking people out left and right. And the accuracy on those isn't as good, but it's still really cool to have, especially if you've been power leveling and leveling up. You can take out entire enemies right there. So it's pretty cool to see that type of skill. I love what they've done with the magic as well. Characters learn a ton of magic. I mean, I think that's one of my pet peeves in some of these RPG games is that you don't learn magic enough. But this game, you're learning spell after spell after spell after spell as you level up for different situations, whether they're weaker or they're stronger. It's really cool. You have the classic healing as well, and the characters are designed and written in a way with the battle system that it just feels like there's a bit more pop in there. It feels a bit more personal as they're talking or they're saying certain things, whether it's a speech bubble when you get a metal slime and those guys like to run away, or whether it's just like when they get to their pep up, right? That's like their little Super Saiyan mode they can do in the game and stuff like that. It's really just cool, and it adds a nice little touch to the game that I was expecting, but they redone some of the lines for the Switch version. So I was like, oh snap, I don't remember that in the PlayStation 4 version of the game. And the story, while it does take a bit to get going, I actually got to the point where I finally picked up Jade and Rob, that's the old man, and the Kiki girl, you know, as they kind of say in there. And that's when the story just really kind of gets going, and you set off on your adventure, getting these orbs and collecting and trying to make it to Yggdrasil so you can beat the almighty power that's out there. And the story's really good. The voice acting is really good. The English voice cast is good. And I feel that with the redone lines, with some of the stuff that they have during the battle, with the already amazing voice cast and story that they have, this is the way to play the game. And I've always stated this, and I'll say it here, you know, again, you guys hear me if you're on my regular streams and stuff. Having the ability to play an RPG like Dragon Quest, a turn-based RPG, anywhere that you want is so much better when you're hunting for metal slimes or when you're trying to just power level. Why stay connected and hooked up to a TV when you can watch some other type of streamer or watch one of your shows and just casually level up and casually play and slime hunt on your portable system when you're at home? So to me, that just makes the experience much better instead of being jacked up and connected to a TV each time. I like that when it comes down to it. I think that that's the way that RPGs are really kind of shining on the Nintendo Switch, especially a turn-based RPG. I did it with Octopath, now I'm doing it with this game here, and I am not regretting my pickup for Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition. Now, I'm always kind of squeamish about these review scores and everything because I already told you guys this is a must-play game that you should go out there and buy, but I guess, you know, this puts the seal on it when it comes to the review. Obviously, I didn't say everything because I want you guys to go out there and buy the game. I think it's a very good game, but if I had to give it a score, because I know some of you guys are going to say, what's the score? What's the score? If I have to give it a score, I'm giving it a solid 9.5 out of 10. Not necessarily because I think that it's the best game in terms of even this year that came out on Switch, but because of everything that this game does. It has very few flaws. It has very few flaws, and it does things in a way to where it doesn't overload you, but then there's plenty of stuff to do with all of the extra content, but there's not like 5 million side quests all around. They are very distinct, and there's not a lot of fetch questing, and there's just content. There's just story content and extra content for you to play, so it keeps you focused, it keeps you on the right path, and it keeps you playing for hours on end. I just really started the adventure where I got everybody, and I'm out there in the world, and I'm 50 hours in. So Dragon Quest XI S, fantastic game, 9.5 out of 10 if you need a score, but like I said, don't hold the scores against me when it comes to comparing it to other stuff. Just go out there and play the game. So what are you guys' thoughts on my review for Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch? I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. And how are you guys enjoying the game if you've already bought it? Let me know your thoughts as well. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let us know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.